All right, we're gonna watch Ben debunks Hamas propaganda.
So TikTok is filled with pro-Hamas people standing for the.
No, I don't like that. I can't get over it. Once a chatter told me that like Israelis do this and Ben does it as well, even though he's not Israeli, that the Israelis say Hamas on purpose. Why? I can't unhear it now.
We're going to go through some of their videos, and we will see what shining, bright moral lights they have, how much nuance they can provide. This video is sponsored by our friends at Genocide.
Whenever you
what the fuck is Genocide?
I love Ben being like, this is why the ethnic cleansing must continue until I feel sated, until my bloodlust has gone away. This video was sponsored by Genocide. With Genocide, you can change your genes or whatever.
losing hope, just remember that this hashtag, the ones that say stand with Israel, got millions of views, but the Palestine ones got multi-millions
Let's
of
go!
views.
Run it up!
Wait, I don't get it. Why is that pro-Hamas?
Because all Palestinians are Hamas.
He almost triple. Don't ever let the media fool you. The people stand with Palestine. This is with all of the money that Israel.
First of all, I think that TikTok analytics to get a better assessment of what's going on is not the best way to do this.
It is if you want to know what people who are afraid to ask for more ketchup at a restaurant are thinking.
Okay, fair. I mean, that's you.
Yeah.
Are you talking about yourself?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Spends on propaganda. It doesn't matter. The people are still hashtagging Palestine way more and doing it way more than Israel. So don't ever forget that.
You know why that is? Because there are 15 million Jews on the planet, and there are a billion Muslims on the planet.
Shit.
That would be.
I mean, never mind. I changed my mind on all this.
Wait, I mean, he's not wrong. That he's literally right. That is definitely a part of it, and yet there is no democracy. It's also not 1 billion, it's 2, so.
Be the reason. I love the conspiratorial. The Jews with their money and those moneyed Jews. But we are still winning.
Wait, it's a conspiracy to say that Israel spends a ton of money specifically to propagandize? What are you saying? Classic. Are you saying Jews love money? It's like, no, man. Nobody said that. Also, 15 million Jews, but like not all of them are pro-Israel, especially not as pro-Israel as you are.
Well, have you considered that there are a lot of Muslims?
That part is not
all trending.
That part is not wrong. He is right about that.
I know.
Like that is part of the reason why the hashtag is so prominent. And it's not just like the Muslim world as well. I would say that there are absolutely more people all around the world that look to the situation in Israel with their ethnic cleansing campaign and say that's fucked up, than vice versa, regardless of the overwhelming media narrative, regardless of what our politicians are saying. So on that front, he's technically not wrong. I know he's just saying it about, there's more Muslims or whatever, but it's just ridiculous.
Because the people love us. Or maybe there are a billion Muslims and a huge number of them hate Israel and are anti-Semitic.
Be very careful what you say about Israel.
Fair.
Any believer going against Israel, you are making yourself an enemy against God.
I don't know how this Zionist propaganda made it to the black community, but it is incorrect. First of all, Palestinians and Israelis worship the same God. It's the God from the Abrahamic religions.
Wait, why did he go, It's true. What the Why did he, wait, am I crazy? Why did he go, no?
First of all, Palestinians and Israelis worship the same God. It's the God from the Abrahamic religions.
Like, he's like shocked. He got whiplash from that. He got scared.
The Bible does not say anything about Israel because Israel was created in 1948 when the British and the United Nations decided to fight a war with Palestine.
What the is she talking about? What in the world is she talking about? Fight a war with Palestine? In what sense? This is such pseudo-history. These people are morons. They're morons. The British mandate was in place until 1947.
It wasn't a war. It was just a massacre at that point.
Yeah. At that point, the British weren't actively helping. Before that, they were fucking arming and training these Zionist brigades, which is like very Western involvement in the Middle East core to just like train these fucking rebel groups at the time. And then they go and do a suicide bombing on your fucking headquarters, which is like a tale as old as time itself, like 9/11 blowback coming from the Jewish terror cells at the time. The Zionist terror cells like Irgun and Lehi is a timeless certified classic. Yeah.
Certified classic.
It is. They literally, the British were like, oh yeah, it's cool. We'll take the Zionist brigades and we'll fucking train them and we'll give them weapons, and then they'll like deal with it on their own. They'll be able to deal with it on their own. And then, oh fuck, the Arabs are revolting too much. Maybe we should stop Jewish immigration into the area because it's becoming too much of a problem. Oh fuck, oh my God, the Zionist brigades that we trained blew up our fucking headquarters and killed 91 people.
The Balfour Declaration declared a Jewish state on both sides of the Jordan. That would be Israel and what is today Jordan. And then, over subsequent years, the British then
Wait. Oh, he's doing the thing where he's like, listen up, Transjordan. That's the one kind of trans I'll always defend.
British mandate was in place until 1947. The Balfour Declaration declared a Jewish state on both sides of the Jordan. That would be Israel and what is...
Yeah, look, he's trying to... All of a sudden, he's recognizing Transjordan. What's up? What's happening?
Today Jordan. And then, over subsequent years, the British then whittled that down. They cut off all of Jordan and handed it to the Arabs. They then cut off most of the land of Israel and handed it to the Arabs. Israel and the Jews accepted every one of those deals, every one of them, including a rump state that was indefensible. What was called by many Jews the Auschwitz borders after World War II, because it was so indefensible. The Jews accepted every one of those deals. The Arabs rejected every one of those deals. What the hell is she? And then she's suggesting that the United States and the Brits fought a war against the...
I like the idea that, Jordan is supposed to be ours as well. Like, he is off the rocker, dude. It's ridiculous. Like, the main point of contention in this situation is that ethnic cleansing occurred an ethnic displacement occurred as a consequence of the Zionist project. You can't just be like, well, it was ours. More of it was ours, actually. And it's really fucked up. We're not even asking for more of it now. It's really, really messed up. It's like, what are you, a fucking baby? What's wrong with you? These are like real human beings that live there. Like, he's literally crying. There's like, actually, it was our land. It was given to us by the British. The fuck?
The British, during the 1930s, restricted Jewish immigration into British Mandate Palestine at the behest of the Arabs, leaving millions of Jews to die in Europe. It was so bad that the Jews...
Yeah, really interesting there. Why didn't they fucking let them into England? What are you saying? They were not allowed into America. They were not allowed into fucking... the UK. Like, oh man, I can't believe it's the fucking Arabs' fault that Jewish people died in the Holocaust. What's wrong with you? This is what really pisses me off about the propaganda that is so filthy and so fucking deeply anti-Arab. Like, he has to fucking tie everything back to Arabs. This kind of like ahistoric projection is unironically the same kind of Holocaust revisionism Benjamin Netanyahu engaged in.
When the British Mandate ended, the British summarily turned over many of the key strategic locations and weapons to the Arabs. Again, these people...
What?
Famously, the British armed all the Arabs there.
What the fuck? Wait.
Just like after the Balfour Declaration, the British occupying force didn't allow any Palestinian newspapers to print any information about it for 2 years because they knew that if the people there found out about it, they would fucking flip out.
That's insane. I feel like a lot of the history that he's explaining is like the exact opposite almost. Where the idea that like Zionist forces were not armed to the fucking gills and had basically a standing military. Like the Haganah was a standing military, which I believe at the time was like, 100,000 strong or something? Like it was a crazy amount of people that were trained by the British Mandate security forces.
Again, these people don't know history. They don't even pretend to know history. They Google something
Come on
Wikipedia and then promptly fail to even interpret it properly.
And cut that country in half to create an ethno-state for Ashkenazi Jewish people. And ever since that war, Israel has taken more and more and more of Palestine's territory.
Okay.
Bro, they literally, I can't get over this. They literally, 1, disarmed the Palestinians. 2, armed and trained the Zionist brigades. They also did PSYOPs, like some of the earliest versions of PSYOPs. I guess they were doing PSYOPs at that point, where they would go in and like play fucking loudspeakers on top of military trucks, which the Arabs did not have, by the way, but the Zionist brigades did. Interesting. I wonder how they got access to fucking airplanes and also trucks, armored trucks and whatnot. I guess it was because, they stole it from the Palestinians. I don't know. But they would have big speakers where they would blast, and tanks as well, of course. They would have big speakers where they would blast the sounds of like machine gun fire and bombs to freak out the remaining Palestinians to ensure that they fucking completely left. Of course, they would kill people too on top of that. They were doing like full-scale war with psychological operations of that magnitude.
Okay, Israel accepted the partition plan. by the UN in 1947-48. The Arabs rejected it and launched a war. Israel won the war and got a little bit more territory. In 1960,
That's exactly what happened. That was it. No more.
No,
context.
I'm sorry. That's literally akin to genocide denial. Straight up. I think that's fucking gross.
Yeah, but Israel said that they agreed to the partition, so
Yeah. They agreed with it so much that they just forcibly expelled 700,000 people from areas that they used to live in.
1967, the Arab nations launched an all-out war to destroy Israel, and in 6 days, Israel took the...
They launched an all-out war to destroy Israel. Luckily, Israel got the jump on them. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, they were they were going to do that. I promise. I swear they were going to do that. Except, no, they weren't. And, like, literally, American authorities, Israeli authorities openly admit that that was not happening.
the entirety of what is now modern-day Israel.
It's so strange. Isn't it crazy how Israel is always the underdog in these stories and perfectly morally infallible?
Hell yeah.
Like, it's just they've never done anything wrong. It's always so fucked up.
all of
It's
their
always
enemies are ontologically evil.
Yeah.
And nothing they do is wrong.
It's crazy because, like, all of their enemies are just about to attack them, and then they just immediately attack first. In self-defense, of course. Preemptive self-defense.
Israel, including Judea, Samaria, and the Gaza Strip. In 1973, another all-out war by the Arabs. In 1979, Israel gave back the entire Sinai Desert to Egypt.
Also, one of the grossest parts about this is that they always, like Ben and everyone else does this as well when they want to defend the Zionist project, they always will say Arabs is a shady way to conflate Arabs with Palestinians. Because in a lot of these circumstances, it's not necessarily like the Palestinians themselves doing any of this. It's just the Palestinians getting fucking butchered, slaughtered, sometimes by even the Jordanian occupation, as a matter of fact. So the idea that it's like Arabs, they're doing it, the Arabs are doing it, the Arabs are doing it together is a way to try and continue the sin of all of the Arab nations and Arab nationalist movements even that engaged in purging Jewish people from their countries in the aftermath of Israel's formation and leading up to Israel's formation in their own post-colonial endeavors. They want to always make it seem like Palestinians are responsible because, like, all Arabs are monolithic. They're all responsible for just hating on Israel too much, and Palestinians are the greatest expression of, like, that responsibility. That's why they deserve to be ethnically cleansed from Israel.
There's also just something about it coming out of his mouth that just feels so intensely racist.
Oh yeah, I mean he is.
I mean, like, I know he is, but I can't even describe. And then if you said that, if you were like, well, it just feels like you're using this to create a monolith, otherizing this group of people in a disgusting way, you'd be like,
Well, isn't that what we call them? They're Arabs, aren't they?
you know, like that's
Yeah.
What should I call them?
Yeah, they all the Arabs were working in unison and collaborating and have one-track mind, famously, which is to kill all the Jews. That's what was going on.
Egypt. In 1995, under the Oslo Accords, Israel surrendered the Gaza Strip as well as large swaths of Judea and Samaria to terrorist groups in order to attempt.
Oh my God. It's just Israel was like, hey man, please, I want Gaza to prosper. Oh wait, just kidding. We're going to keep fucking putting settlements there. There was no surrender of the Gaza Strip, which is so disgusting to say to begin with. It's like, oh wow, we surrendered the Gaza Strip. Like, here, have this fucking piece of land for 2 million people. Anytime someone who is defending the Zionist project says that Israel always was on board with Palestinian statehood or giving Palestinians autonomy, it is a fucking lie. No, Ben is not brainwashed and Ben is not ignorant. Ben is a malicious liar who is bloodthirsty and wants the full-scale ethnic cleansing of Palestinians.
pull up the sewer tweet. You know that one?
Yeah, the Arabs like to bomb shit. Israelis like to build. Arabs like to live in sewage and blow up stuff.
Yeah.
Classic. He is a racist monster. As far as being like, oh, we gave Gaza back to terrorists is fucking disgusting.
These people don't know anything about history. They don't even pretend to know anything about history. It's absurd. We'll get to more on this.
That's facts, though. I don't know anything about history.
Yeah, Ben, on the other hand, also doesn't know any like accurate information from history. He knows only enough to like omit key details to make it seem, and not even doing a good job, in my opinion, to make it seem like Israel is perfectly infallible and perfectly just in its actions.
We will never feel ashamed of our support of the Palestinian people.
Hamas.
Never be harassed into silence.
Black student organizers at Harvard are being attacked by
This isn't
Zionist and
even-
right-wing forces for their support of Palestine.
Okay.
Their faces are being shown on trucks around campus, accusing them of being anti-Semites.
Well, okay, actually, can we fill that in right there? The reason that those trucks are on campus is because a bunch of student groups signed a statement blaming Israel for the massacre of...
Wow, I can't believe it. You know who else did that? Haaretz, woke scold anti-Semites. The Israeli paper of record editorial team. I'm here to tell you, woke scold anti-Semites. I would dox all of them too. You know who else I want to dox? The Shin Bet, okay? The internal Israeli security apparatus. Woke scolds, which is identical to what the Netanyahu administration said at the time. But, you know, all these guys, they're woke. They're woke scolds. I hate those guys.
Actually, Hamas started this whole thing. Remember October 7th? Actually, that's wrong. Before October 7th, Israeli security forces killed 248 Palestinians, and 40 of them were children, and that was just this year. And if you want to go back further than that, we can look at the recent history of war crimes committed by the Israeli government. Operation Protective Edge in 2014, Operation Pillar of Defense in 2012, Operation Cast Lead in
I mean, it's cool that he's letting this guy fucking spit. I mean, it's true.
2009.
What started each one of those operations?
They started it! Dude, it's awesome. Ben Shapiro's always been baby-like, obviously, which
Baby
is
girl.
Yeah, like he is very baby girl for sure. But like something about Israel turns his commentary into like the most petulant, spoiled child, like the fat kid in the Wonka's factory or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean? He's just like I don't know.
What's his name? Otto, Chad?
I don't know. I've never even watched it. I've just only seen like
Let's go.
gifs
Tell
of
me
it.
it's Otto.
But
oh, it's Augustus
Gloop. I don't know. He just he is
shit.
like
I'm changing my name for you in my phone to Augustus Gloop.
Okay. He just sounds literally like Boss Baby, like a baby throwing a fucking tantrum.
Islamic barrages of rockets into civilian centers in Israel.
Dude, I'm not even dude, we have to give the Gaza Strip an Iron Dome. First of all, arm both sides of a conflict, we make more money. That's number one.
Businessman.
I'm a fucking businessman, dog. I love the military-industrial complex. We need to start arming the Palestinian population so they can have an even playing field. Like, what do you mean? More war, more conflict. Conflict continues, right?
War is good for the
and
economy.
more money. War is good for the economy.
That's what started each one of these operations. I love this moron. I guess the idea here is that, if you point out that what has caused the current conflict is the massacre of 1,500 Jews. Like, well, you know, before that, Israel killed other Palestinians. You're like, yeah, but why would they do that? And the answer is because they were associated with terrorist group.
Palestinian babies, Israel's greatest nightmare. Nobody does it like the Palestinian babies
Well,
do.
the thing is, babies grow up and they become
Yeah,
terrorists.
they're
maybe
they're terrorists in the making.
do the math.
Yeah,
Do the math.
he's so good. He's so good at the arguments.
And he's like, yeah, but what about the conflict before? Oh, you mean because the terrorists were firing rockets into Israel? It's an infinite regress
Yeah,
of dumb.
that's always how it works. It was always like first Intifada, terrorists throwing rockets into Israel. You know, it was always the same. It was always the Nakba, terrorists throwing rockets, Hamas throwing rockets into Israel. Guys, never forget, Israel is always in the right. It's just crazy. I don't know how it happened. They're always in the right. It's just so crazy. How, like the luck. Like, think about the luck that, like, for 75 years, every single preemptive first strike that you've engaged in, you're always doing it in self-defense.
Just name a bunch of operations without actually explaining why the operations were initiated.
Yeah, but you don't mention why.
Yeah, why were they initiated? I wonder. I don't know. Maybe fucking killing and brutalizing Palestinians at the mosque in Jerusalem. Every fucking year there is literally a march through Palestinian territories where Palestinians live in both Sheikh Jarrah, but also throughout the West Bank, where the most far-right ultra fucking Zionists will march through the streets and purposely try to incite the Palestinians and instill fear upon their hearts by celebrating Israel's territorial acquisition. And they say incredibly horrifying things in that process. On top of that, they do the annual Al-Aqsa Ramadan raids. They also stop the Palestinians in Gaza from even going into Al-Aqsa deliberately. They restrict their freedom of movement. They beat the shit out of the people. people. They beat them in the fucking mosque. It's completely unacceptable.
ICAS-led happened. Hamas fired rockets into Israel. And that was because Israel broke the ceasefire agreement they had on November 4th, 2008, while the entire world was in euphoria over the United States electing its first black president, Barack Obama. Israel used the opportunity to break the ceasefire agreement and raid Gaza and kill Palestinians.
For no reason, they're just raiding Gaza, just for fun. They just raid.
Dude, he predicted Ben's argument. This guy's awesome. I'm going to give him a follow. Thank you, Ben. He did a pretty good job. Okay, sick. I normally don't like TikTokers in general. Hate those guys. Fucking silly and you know, especially ones that like talk about politics every now and then. Lame.
Did you just fart?
Are you lying so that you can, you know, you have no noise gate, right? If I farted, you could hear it.
I think you just pulled a silent but deadly on me.
Oh, that's funny that you pulled the fucking ripcord.
Raid Gaza.
Is that how much I upset you that you had to lie about it?
This is a chemical attack that's happening right now.
It's ridiculous.
To do what exactly? To steal their nothing? What would the raid entail?
Ooh, he had a really good one. That was good.
To steal their nothing.
Well, I mean, according to the Israeli officials, they call it mowing the lawn. So that's why they do it, to fucking kill them.
Israel so desperately wanted not to be in Gaza that they surrendered the place to a fucking terrorist group for 20 years, who then...
Yeah, no, totally. And they just like kind of let them thrive after that. It was pretty cool when
famously.
Yeah, famously. First of all, they literally pulled out of Gaza specifically so they could bomb it. Do a little bit of ethnic cleansing there, you know what I mean? Also, the secondary purpose is that you could just fucking sit there and act like that is the only Palestinian Authority that you care about, that you care to deal with, that you increasingly radicalize, knowing full well that they will retaliate.
You know, and one thing that I've noticed, they keep saying they're running out of power, they're running out of fuel, they're running out of water. You know the thing they haven't been running out of? Rockets.
Well, you're leaving out a lot of context. You got to go back further than that. To 1967? Yeah, let's go back to 1967, when Israel started a preemptive war.
Egypt was...
But wait, that means...
Every time he makes an argument, this guy's like, you're a fucking idiot, Ben. And then Ben's like, God, no.
I like that he is having an argument with himself, but
it's Ben Shapiro.
But he's doing a good job of representing Ben's positions.
Mobilizing its Air Force.
Syria and Jordan, and took more land from Palestine, further enclosing Palestinians into the Gaza Strip. They illegally occupied the Gaza Strip and the West Bank in what has been formally condemned ever.
Imagine losing a debate to a TikTok that you're watching.
Wait, yeah, didn't he watch this? Didn't he watch the TikTok already? He should just skipped it. It's fucking sick.
He got so angry
that he's like
he's
like getting mad, but also he just gave this guy 348,000 views, and like not every single person is a Ben Shapiro fan that's watching this. And honestly, this is great for him. How do you lose to a TikTok?
I lose to a TikTok
since 1967. As an illegal occupation in violation of international law, unilaterally condemned by the World Court.
Who gives a shit about the World Court?
Bitch, what do you mean? Dude, I love, this is my favorite way that like Ben gets angry, where he's like, the UN is anti-Semitic and no one should listen to them. Or like, the IDF account or the Israeli account does this as well on Twitter, when they're like, own the Geneva Conventions by being like, ceasefire is anti-Semitic. And it's like, dude, what the fuck? Sometimes you have to blow up babies. Like, what are you doing? You're not winning anybody over with this. If this is the best you got, you're fucking cooked.
You mean organizations staffed by people who hate Israel and the UN and the Red Cross?
Yes. God, I love this.
Of the countries on the planet.
Yeah. No.
For censuring them constantly.
Staffed by, duh. Majority of the planet is anti-Semitic. Everyone's anti-Semitic. When America says like we need to allow humanitarian aid to come into Israel, that's anti-Semitic. It's anti-Semitic. Everybody hates Israel, and Israel, of course, represents all Jews. And I've created this perfect little logical box in my mind. And if you don't agree with me, then you're also Hamas.
Like the UN, the Red Cross,
oh my God,
the Geneva Conventions,
the Geneva Conventions.
Consensus.
He's doing this.
He did it! I don't know. I didn't know he was going to go there, but he did it. He's like, Geneva Conventions.
Geneva Suggestions.
Yeah, you've literally lost the plot. You've lost the majority of the people. At least like liberals act like these things mean anything. Like, I know it doesn't, right? But like, You can't turn around and be like, Geneva Conventions. Who cares about the Geneva Conventions? We have to kill Palestinian babies. You're not even debunking him. You're just angrily yelling at like global institutions and the rules that for the most part benefited Israel and now are like lightly critical of Israel's gross violations of all of those rules of war. But it's too much. I can't believe it.
In defense of Hamas, the Geneva Convention.
In the world all call on Israel to return to its pre-June 1967 borders.
That's not even true. That's not even true. Even the UN resolutions, which are garbage and stupid, even those UN resolutions call on Israel to surrender some of the occupied territory.
He's so... Dude, this is so good. He's so good. Why did he get owned by a video he chose personally to watch?
Just kept going.
That was awesome. Yeah, he hates the UN and Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch and B'Tselem
the Geneva Convention.
and the Geneva Conventions. And he also openly said occupied territories, which is cool. Why did he?
I mean, the Geneva Convention is woke. Like, we can agree that it's kind of woke.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Like, what do you mean war crimes? You know what I mean? I think you should be able to do whatever you want during war. There's no reason for it.
Not all occupied territory. Those are disputed territories. Some occupied territories.
Yeah, but you're missing more.
Wait,
It's still going, bro. He's beating him up.
okay.
This guy doesn't even know he's in a debate with Ben Shapiro.
Yeah,
right now.
and he's fucking crushing, dude. Every moment in the last like 3 minutes of this 14-minute video has just been him getting fucking owned and yelling about the Geneva Conventions and admitting that Israel is occupying territory and like should give back some of it, at least according to the UN. Like it's great.
Context, you got to go back to 1948. Okay, let's
No,
go back to
67 was fine.
1948. In 1948,
No. Don't talk about that.
Why is he's losing? He's losing the argument. He's still losing the argument. No. It's fine. It's fine.
No, don't talk about that.
67 is fine. Oh, what the fuck?
Zionists extirpated about 1 million Palestinians from their homes and forced them to relocate to the Gaza Strip.
What? Excuse me. In 1947-48, there was a full-scale war between Arabs and Israelis. Somewhere between 700...
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, full-scale war. Like when they went into the Deir Yassin village, which already had a truce pact with all of the nearby villages, right? The Jewish villages, and therefore did not even have like a standing militia or anything. And, they threw children in ovens and people in wells and stuff like that, and like horrifyingly raped them and stuff. That was a war, actually. That was just war. Simply war. Many documented instances of war crimes from that entire period of time, which Israel refuses to declassify, even though we have passed the 50-year mark, by the way, which is so American. God, Israel is so America. It's crazy. The Nakba was not a fucking war. It's like, I'm sorry to go there, but it would be as ridiculous as saying like the Holocaust was a fucking war, like a two-sided war. It's not. It's ridiculous. You're fighting against people who were ultimately a civilian population. Some of those people had guns, but for the most part, you literally had a standing military at that point that was armed to the fucking teeth and was butchering the shit out of Arabs. Yeah, it's like saying the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising was a war, kind of. Why Israel is blocking access to his archives? Yeah, Israel's concealing vital records to prevent darkest periods in its history from coming to light, academics say. Yeah, the only reason why we have information on the Nakba is because not everyone died. And also the members of Haganah and the Irgun brigades and the Lehi, I don't know, fucking, the different terror cells, some of which that actually called themselves terrorists, by the way, self-declared terror cells. Lahi, Stern Gang, which is the pejorative, like the negative way of referring to Lehi, Stern Gang. Some of them tried to fucking collaborate with the Nazis.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no, they're really, really bad guys. Not good at all, okay?
Either fled or were expelled from areas where there was military activity. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians left in the lead up to the war and during the war because all social services had collapsed.
I hate him so much. Like, I want to laugh, but yeah, Trail of Tears. The Native Americans were simply fled. Armenian genocide. Armenians simply fled from areas They were not forced or anything. They just simply left on their own volition, never to return. Like, what the fuck are you saying? What are you saying? You're doing genocide denial. For the record, I brought up the Armenian example. I don't want anybody to fucking turn around and be like, oh, see, we got him. He's denying the Armenian genocide. I'm not. I'm saying that this is akin to denying the Armenian genocide.
Because the Arab nations were telling them to get out. The other part is that you may have noticed many Arabs remain, which is why 20% of Israel's population currently is Israeli.
Oh my God, he hates Arabs so much. Some of them didn't fucking get the memo, and they remain.
Today, about 70% of all Gazans are considered refugees from the 1948 expulsion.
Okay, pause that for a second. How is that even possible? Seriously, how's that even possible? Well, folks, unfortunately...
Oh, that's it. He got owned and then decided, fuck it, we're done with that.